watch as we very carefully lower this floodgate down to the creek. So what we got to do now, or what we're doing today, is we came down here to replace a floodgate. What the floodgates do is they're kind of a placeholder for a fence, because in our area we have these sloping hillsides. So what we get is when we get heavier rains, the water comes down the hillsides, it comes down to the creek, and then the creek floods. And often it floods up to where I'm standing, which is a couple feet away from the creek. And as you can see in this floodgate, which is just a wire panel strung up with barbed wire, is the cows ran through it. However, it's not that big a deal, because on the other side of this township bridge, there's a drop off over there, and the cows would really have to be spooked to go through over there. And the neighbor is my grandpa's brother anyway, so it's not like it would be a huge deal, but we got to replace it because it's broken and busted. We brought down this newly used wire panel, and we're just going to string it back up with more barbed wire. And the reason we string it up like we do, which is kind of like a jimmy rig, is because when the water does come through and it's flooding, this panel will either swing back and allow the water to flow right past it, but more than often what will happen is it'll break away on one side, so the entire panel will swing against the bridge, and there'll be less resistance against it. And that's where we have to come through and check the floodgates after heavy rains. We have to run around and check all of them after especially heavy floods, but we don't have to after minor rains or nothing like that. And the reason we're attaching a rock to it is to hold it down so the cows can't push it,
pull it, or drag it.
Yeah, push it, pull it, or drag it. And using barbed wire, if there's a lot of water that's coming through here, you can still, the barbed wire will still break, and it hopefully will not take.
The wire we got is Gaucho, and it's got a lot of spring to it, so it'll take a little bit more abuse.
And it'll break if, hopefully, instead of taking the whole floodgate with it.
Which 99% of the time it doesn't.
Yeah, 99%. Fun little fact for you. Now, the creeks we have around here are running clear, and the reason they're running clear, unlike the Mississippi or the larger rivers that are tributaries to the Mississippi River, which is why they call it the Muddy Mississippi, is because from all the erosion.
Our water's better than everybody else.
Yeah, coming from all the erosion off the hillsides. Typically on your larger rivers, you're going to have more suspended clay particles in your water, while in your smaller creeks, the water is clear because it doesn't have as much of a land base to erode all your dirt from. And this creek starts about mile up the road, and it's still pretty clear once it gets down here and lets it stir it up. As you can see, some dirt sitting down on top of the rocks. Once the creeks go into the larger rivers, they become unclear, they become dirty, and you can't see to the bottom anymore because of all the suspended clay. That should be about it for this video, guys. I'll see you next time.